Hello, I am live, and I'm by myself, of course. But I'm sure Blacky and Sarah will show up when they can. Um, as you know, this is Blacky's normal spot, but with our daylight savings time, which was spring forward, and their daylight savings time, which was fall back, it made a 2 hour difference for them in where they used to live stream. So they're having a little bit of difficulty. Like, I'm sure Sarah's not even home from work yet, and yeah, so it's a bit of a headache right now, but they will be here. They will be here eventually. So how's everybody doing tonight? And I got to say hello, Andrew. So good to see you. Hi, Kat. Hi, Sandy and Grasshopper and Mike. I think that's everybody that's here. Oh, Mojo. Hi, Mojo. If you're still here. How's your weather doing down there in Denver? Hi, Jenny Lynn. How's your snakes? Where are you at now, Andrew? Andrew driving all over the world. Um, Hi, Chew. Hi, Chew. It's been rather Wyoming weather here. We had snow last night. Not as much as they were predicting. They thought we would get between 2 and 7 inches, and we probably only got about an inch. But we had a high of 17, and we're going to have a low of 5 or 3. I think it said 3. And the freeway's being closed all day. So, like, I was waiting for a tube of paint for FedEx to deliver a tube of paint to me, and it said it was on the truck for delivery and out for delivery all day. But they were lying, because that was from Cheyenne. They deliver it from Cheyenne, and the freeway was closed. So there was no way that was. It might be on the truck, but it ain't out for delivery. Because the freeway was closed since the last, let's see, from 5 o'clock in the morning until now. So yeah, they didn't. It wasn't on the truck for delivery. And I was stupid, and I didn't even check until after 5, when I was like, dang, why aren't they here yet? I think I'll check the road conditions, and everything was bright red and closed. And I'm like, well, shit. So I was like, hey, Travis. So I had like my nose pressed against the window glass all day waiting for my delivery, and it wasn't coming. Good old Wyoming, closing roads because nobody seems to drive in Wyoming. Yeah, a lot of people say that Wyoming is nothing but a glitch in the matrix. There's really no such thing as a Wyoming. So what's everybody up to? Like I said, I'm kind of by myself, just rambling and talking away. Let me adjust the camera here. If anybody wants to come up and join me, there is a link pinned to the top. Hey, GRB, how you doing? I'm just kind of here by myself, so if anybody wants to talk, you can come on up. There's a link pinned to the top. Am I back? My computer totally went off. I'm here again. I had to the computer didn't go off, but it went back to as if I'd rebooted it. So everything went off. My screen was all of a sudden black, and then I had to wait because everything was super slow getting started up again. Hi, chicklets. So I'm glad. Thank you, anybody that go around during this. I have no idea. I've got to get stuff restarted up again, but I got StreamYard back up. And let me see here. I need to get my live stream back up so I can look at the chat easier. So hold on. Do that, and then we got to go to I'm getting there. Go to my channel, and then the live stream. Well, that was just fun, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. You guys can see me again, right? I think everybody can see me again. Yep, it says you're back. Okay. Okay, so let me adjust the camera a little bit. Hi. Cat, get out of there. Get out of there. Mario being a dick. Get out of there. Stars scratching my legs. I didn't even push any buttons. I was just talking, and all of a sudden my screen went black, and it went clear back to the startup thing, like when you first turn on your computer and you got to wait for it to warm up and say it didn't shut down correctly and all that crap, and then put in the password again, and then connect to Chrome again, and then I was afraid the internet was out, because when I connected to Chrome, it didn't want to let me open anything up for a minute. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. It got my old heart beating for the night. But it's been I've lost my internet probably 4 or 5 times during the last 2 days, but because we've had a lot of wind. But the wind quit blowing, and now it's just we've got snow on the ground, and it's 10 degrees and dropping right now. It's supposed to get down to 3 tonight. And there's a little bit of fresh snow on the ground. So it's cold. It's Wyoming. So if anybody wants to come up and rescue me, you're welcome to. If you push Alt and F4, I'll try to remember that. Does it get you up on Chrome or a different internet? Anyway, so what's going on with everybody else tonight? We've got 12 people in here waiting for Blacky and Sarah to show up. So I'm just kind of sitting here babbling to myself. Oh, it closes your current screen. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Grasshopper. That would be very helpful. Never listen to Grasshopper. Never. Yep, in Wyoming, it's like April showers bring snow plowers, is the way it works in Wyoming. Okay, I see Sarah saw my link. And I don't know. I assume Bob's not coming because I have not heard from him at all. And if he was coming, he would be here. So I'm assuming he's doing fishy stuff. And I sent Ed a link just in case, but usually he doesn't make it on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Hi, Kiwi. How you doing? So do you guys want to see some art, or do you want to talk, or must push all the buttons? I'm trying not to push any buttons because, yeah, something happened and I don't even know what caused that. It's just my computer just went back to zero for a minute. I had to start up everything all over again. And it didn't even freeze up or anything. It just like quit. Hey, Sarah.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright.
I started the stream and then all of a sudden my screen went black. And right when I was talking, and I was like, what the heck? And it did the whole startup thing, saying that this computer didn't shut down correctly and blah, blah, blah. And I had to like wait for the whole thing to warm up and re-put in my password and then click on the internet to open it up again and try to get into stuff again. It was like great fun.
Yeah, very exciting. Not stressful at all.
Oh, no. But not everybody left, so that was good. Because it probably took me a good 5 minutes to get everything back up again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So how's your day going there?
It's okay. I had to go to school today to have a meeting with school about my son, but it was okay.
That's always fun.
It really is the best. But it was all right.
Do you want to hear a story about when I had to go into school one time for my daughter?
Sure.
And this honest to God happened. I'm not even exaggerating or making it up. Nothing. I'm not even adding to it. This honest to God happened. School called me, said the principal wanted to talk to me, and I needed to come in and talk to her about my daughter. See, my daughter was in the 3rd grade then. So I was like, okay. So I go in there and I'm thinking, what the hell did she do now? Because I have to go in and talk to the principal. So I get in there and sit down, and the principal is this woman. And she starts telling me that Megan has been telling her classmates that she's half dog. And all of her classmates believe her. And the teacher keeps arguing, and the kids believe Megan, and the teacher's getting very upset about it. And I'm sitting there listening to her go on, and I'm thinking, I got called into school for this? You're fucking kidding me, right? And I'm sitting there listening to her. And when she gets done and she's looking at me expectantly, and I tell her, I said, so basically, you want me to have a talk with Megan? And she starts shaking her head, yes. And I said, so I will tell Megan that just because her mother's a bitch doesn't mean she's half dog. And the principal just stares at me like I'm out of my mind and doesn't say anything. She's just like staring at me. And I stood up and I grabbed my purse and I walked out to my car, and I got in my car and I stuck my keys in the ignition, and I burst out laughing, and I had to sit there laughing for a while because I was laughing so hard I was crying. But no sense of humor. The principal didn't have any sense of humor. But I thought it was perfect. I thought it was fucking perfect,
Why did the teacher even need to have an argument about that?
I know. It's like, that's kid stuff. It's kids having an imagination. Yep. Are kids not supposed to have an imagination? I mean, what? It's not like she's like running around kicking other kids or something,
Yeah.
She just was telling the other. And I know why she was doing it. It's because the kids were kind of bullying her, telling her that she didn't have a dad. So she, in return, told them that she was half dog. And they believed her. So There you go. But it isn't. Is that something to get called into the school for?
No,
I mean, seriously?
no way. I
Hmm.
haven't. Uh,
Hey, Honda.
I mean, I get called into school, but it's usually because, my kids really have pulled some shockers at school. Or, you know, I just have one who just doesn't want to do schoolwork. So, like every school he goes to, they call me in and they're like, he won't do the work. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I'm so,
Yeah, I've gone in many a times.
I can't
Remember,
make it
I had
either.
I had Megan in like a after school daycare thing till I got off work. So I go in there to pick her up, and she's about the same age. It's like around when she's like in the third grade, and same principal too. I go in to pick her up, and she is in the office with the principal, and the principal's usually not there. There's a couple teachers that do after school daycare. But Megan, they got her in the office with one of the after school daycare ladies, and she had called the principal in. So they call me in there to talk to me, and Megan is sitting in the corner just bawling her eyes out, right? And the principal's sitting at her desk, and she's got a piece of paper in front of her that obviously was wadded up and then smoothed out again, right? It's all wrinkled up and stuff like. So I listen to what they have to say, and Megan had gotten in trouble for something, and she got mad at the after school teacher, and she wrote something on a piece of paper out of her notebook, and then she gobbled it up and threw it away. And the after school teacher pulled it out of the garbage and read it and called the principal. So they were telling me this, and I said, so basically, Megan, instead of like yelling or screaming, she took her anger out by writing it on a piece of paper and then threw it away because it was never meant for anybody to see. And you pulled it out of the garbage and want her to be in trouble for what she wrote in anger. And the after school teacher's going, yeah, but read it. And she grabs it and she's like waving it at me. I said, I don't even want to read it. I don't want to see it. This is stupid. She wrote it in anger. She didn't mean it. That's why she gobbled it up and threw it in the garbage. And I said, I'm taking Megan and I'm going home. And I looked back as I walked out, that Megan had quit crying and looked rather surprised, and I grabbed her by the hand, and as I walked by the principal and looked at the principal, I could see she agreed with me. I mean, I could tell by her eyes that she agreed with me that the whole thing was stupid, but nothing more was ever said about it because I just took Megan's hand and walked out because I thought it was freaking ridiculous. Excuse my language, but yeah, I mean, so she got mad, and like I said, I don't even know what she wrote, but she wrote it in anger and she threw it away. That stupid teacher had no business digging in the garbage and pulling it out and then calling the principal to try to get her in trouble. And that's how I feel about that. You can disagree with me if you want, but that's just how I feel about it.
I'm with you there. And I mean, that is a really healthy way for a child to be able to deal with their feelings without
it's a way of
actually
get out their anger without hurting anybody,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, when my son was cranky with his maths teacher, he wrote "fuck you, Simon" on the desk. The teacher. The teacher didn't find it till after class, but he knew what desk he was sitting at. So that one. But but I did talk to him about how you can't deface school property and write,
Yeah, you can't do that. Now Tucker, he was like always like Tucker is the teachers always told me that if he was ever tested, there was absolutely no doubt he's a genius. extremely smart kid. But he ended up going to an alternative school and graduated in an alternative school. And the reason why is because he was, I think when he was like a freshman or junior, he was in fucking English class, and they took a test, and he finished his test. And when he got done, he pulled out and turned it in. He pulled out a book and started reading. And the teacher gave him detention for reading in his class when they were supposed to be taking a test, which he had already finished. So that was like a turning point for him. And he started just being real belligerent to the teachers. And yeah, he ended up, actually gave him detention for that. So anyway, yeah, so he ended up finishing school in an alternative school and just getting his GED. So teachers can suck sometimes.
They sure can. You'd think that you would go into that profession as somebody who was maybe compassionate and had like a love of children.
Yeah, you would think so, but it's not always the case. I've had to stick up for my kids so many times. Oh my gosh.
Some of them are awful. Yeah.
Yes. When I was a kid, my brother, who was a year younger than me, his first grade teacher called my mom in for a parent-teacher conference, and my mom was not very bright because she went with it, but the teacher said that she just felt that my brother was going to have problems if he didn't have more discipline, so she got permission from my mom to discipline him in class, right? By the end of the year, he was stuttering so bad that it took 3 years of teachers working with him after school to get him to quit stuttering. And this was all caused by that one teacher. And it was her first year teaching, which my mother didn't realize. And she just totally fucked up my little brother. Yeah, so you got to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my kid was at a school with, I mean, the teacher wasn't like disciplining him, but she particularly didn't like him and was mean to him and just did like weird little mean things to him. Like she made coloured signs for all the kids in class, but she made his like grey. And she used to get cranky with him for all sorts of things, and she would never let him go to the toilet. So he used to always be sick in the tummy and come home because he'd had to hold on to a poo.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
She'd never let him go, and she'd just do little things like to sort of single him out a lot. And he went from being like this really enthusiastic, bouncing person to just being like really closed into himself. I've moved to school now, but it had a huge impact on him, and that was
it can, especially when they're little.
Nothing overt. She just, and like say when other kids would pick on him and he would come to her, she would just block him off and things like that. And it really did. It affected him hugely. And like the first couple of times he told me the stories, I thought, you know, he's not very old, and sometimes, you know, kids can sort of feel like something's unfair that maybe wasn't unfair. You know, it just is how it felt unfair to them in that situation, but the teacher was maybe not doing something wrong.
Trash cat, hello.
But when I went in and had a meeting with her and saw directly how she treated him, that's when I was like,
yeah.
She's actually
when Megan was in kindergarten, well, when she was like in the first or second grade, she was diagnosed with Asperger's, so which is a form of autism. But Asperger kids are usually extremely intelligent, but they have no social skills whatsoever. Like they can't read expressions, and they're very socially awkward. They just like, and everything you say, they'll take literally and stuff like that. So when she was in kindergarten, I hated that teacher. Oh my God. But I went to pick her up, and it was in California, and you had to they had the kids line up inside the fence, and then the parents came up to the fence one at a time and collected their kid, right? So I go to pick her up, and she's not there. And when her teacher saw me, she said, come with me. She's back in the classroom. So we get back to the classroom, and Megan is underneath the table, right? And we're talking a kindergarten kid, right? So the teacher's going on and on to me about how she, crawled underneath the table and won't come out. She couldn't get her out from underneath the table and blah, 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 blah. So I just stuck my hand out and said, come here, Megan. And Megan came right out, and the teacher was going on for a while. And then as we left, she like pinned something on Megan's back, but I was kind of like upset and didn't pay too much attention. So as we got out on the sidewalk, Megan asked me if I could please take the sad note off of her back. So I took it off of her back, and what it was a note saying that she had misbehaved that day. And they called it a sad note. So the teacher would pin it onto the kids' backs before they went out to get picked up by their parents. So when she went to pin the note on Megan, Megan had crawled underneath the table because public humiliation for a kindergarten kid. You know what I'm saying?
That's awful.
Yeah, so I sent a note for the teacher the next day, and I said, in the future, if you need to send a note for me, you can pin it on Megan's backpack, but do not be pinning any notes on her. Period. Because fuck it, I've raised 4 kids, and you aren't going to be doing that to my kid.
That's terrible.
Yeah, teachers can be really stupid. I mean, they can be really stupid. And at the same time, there are really good teachers.
Absolutely.
So
the thing is, they're such a huge part of children's lives.
Yeah.
If you look at how many hours a day kids go off and they spend, 5 days a week away from their families with these people as their, role model, support, and guidance.
And and like I say, some of them are really wonderful, but you have to be willing to go in and stand up for your kids if you get one that's like, teachers are human, maybe there's kids that they just automatically don't like or something, but boy, if that's one of your kids, you'd better be standing up for them.
Yeah.
So,
well,
how are you doing? Besides having to go in and talk to your son's teacher today.
Apart from that, I'm okay. I was trying to do some drawing before, but I kind of didn't get anywhere. I just started a few different bits and pieces, and I got these papers here, this little size, which I've got some. I had some before that I found recently, but I got these ones that are that same size, but they're just nice and thick. So, but they're like the next size up after these little ones.
It's like looks like it's about double the size. Awesome.
Yeah. So I grabbed some of those to draw on, so that's always nice, having a nice stack of paper. Actually, I was going to get more little ones, but they didn't have any, but she's ordered them in, so I have to wait and see when they arrive. Yeah. And I've just been sort of started a couple of things, just like another kind of one of these guys.
Oh, that's cool. It looks like a deformed chicken.
Yeah.
I like it.
And I don't know. This one was sort of starting up, but I don't know where it's going. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Mike. Your dog is
That's
beating
kind
you up, Grasshopper. He's got that new puppy.
of,
I don't have anything started right now. I need to start something. I need to try to sell the two bigger pieces that I have because I have a eviction notice sitting here because I got to catch up on my rent, and I haven't been able to sell any bigger pieces at all. So I'll show people real quick what I have, and if anybody's interested, let me know or throw a bid out. But I have this elk. It is an 8x10. I should blow myself up for just a second.
do it.
I have elk. And it is an 8x10 colored pencil on handmade bark paper. Elk butt. And I have this one, which I haven't matted yet, but I'm going to be matting it probably tonight after I get done. Which is a young bighorn. And then I have one card left over from this weekend. That is a grebe. And that's what I've got.
Very nice. That elk is especially special.
It is, but like I say, I've shown it. I think this is the second night that I've shown it because I've just been letting it sit. But nobody seems to want to buy it, which kind of surprises me because I like it like as one of my better drawings. But sometimes it just takes the right person to see something, you know?
That's very true. It is very much about matching, you know, the right person and the right piece.
Exactly, yep. And I'm going to leave you alone for just 1 minute because I got to go check and make sure that the door is locked up good because the cat has this habit of knocking the door open and I don't want the dog going out. Although if she got out like tonight, I would just throw on my shoes and follow her little footy prints in the snow because we have fresh snow.
That just sounds so adorable. Like the little footprints in the snow.
Yep. I would just follow her footprints to see where she went because we have a fresh layer of snow and it is colder than shit out there. It is like, it's going to get down to 3 tonight. It's slowly dropping. It's supposed to have a low of 3 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I will tell you right now, 3 Fahrenheit to Celsius minus 16.11 degrees Celsius. That's how cold it's supposed to get tonight.
There you go.
Huh?
Said there you go. I was thinking we were starting to get chilly because we're starting to get some nice nights that are getting down near like 14 degrees. I saw on there 14.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm looking forward to those nights coming. A little bit chilly.
A little bit chilly, yeah. Well, it's a little bit chilly here. There's a saying in the United States, which I'm sure Candy, hi Candy, tell Candy hi. There's a saying in the United States, which I'm sure that isn't in Australia because of your different months and stuff. But there's a saying here: it's April showers bring May flowers. Only in Wyoming, it's April showers bring the snow plowers.
Okay. How long before it starts warming up?
And where I live, it's probably going to start slightly getting warmer here anytime, but it is not unusual for us to get a big snowstorm at the end of May or the 1st of June.
Wow.
Which for the rest of the United States, by that time they have a good garden going and their fish outside and all that stuff, and we're still looking at snow, you know. June, yeah. Last year, not last year, the year before last, our last big snowstorm as a winter was June 8th, and it snowed about a foot on June 8th. 84 today. 84. I hope you're not complaining about 84. We won't be seeing 84 until at least June. Last year, it actually was warm. It got really warm in June, but most years, like I say, we have a snowstorm at least the end of May and sometimes the first part of June. And yes, we have even had snow in July here because it's fucking Wyoming. What can you say? Wyoming is cold. Wyoming is like, well, where I live, it is 7,162 feet above sea level. So that's pretty high up.
Mm.
So, yeah.
That sure is. Gosh.
And Denver is called the Mile High City, but Laramie actually sits up higher than Denver. So, anyway, I'm going to shut the camera off for a second and go double check my door, and I'll be right back.
Okay. I will try and be brave and not freeze up. I'll find something to say to everyone. I don't know what that is though. Unfortunately. So I'm sorry, everyone. I'm like looking in my brain and it's just like an empty room in there. And looking in the corners and they're still empty. There's nothing in there to say or to talk about. I did go down to the creek and do some rock gathering just the other day, and I still haven't pulled out all of those rocks and looked at them, and I was almost going to bring them in here so that I could just like look through and see what I found while I was sitting here and talking, but then I thought I shouldn't bring them in because then I won't draw, and I should be drawing. So, so I didn't bring them in, and I don't know what ones I found, just like some big chunks of quartz and nice rocks, and then quite a few bits I think that will make nice jewelry. So I'm looking forward to that.
Buttons. I pushed the wrong buttons. Blacky's in the chat. He says, nearly there, talk about me.
Mikey's nearly here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he threw you a heart.
For me?
Yes. Well, I'm sure it's not for me. Well, it might be. You never know.
You never know. But yeah, he had to go and do jobs and eat food, I think, and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully he will be here soon. I didn't even know what to say about Mikey. My brain's really doing the, it's just abandoned me.
Hi, James.
And left me here all alone without it.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
my brain abandons me regularly.
I used to curse it, and then I tried like not being so I figured it had to deal with quite a lot of stuff in its life, so I tried to be like kind to it when it escaped me, and I hope it will come back more quickly, but it didn't necessarily work.
So did you find some good rocks?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I found some nice rocks. I think I got some good, like there was nothing there that was like especially amazing. Like sometimes you find just like one piece that's really, really good. But I haven't looked through them. They're still in my backpack because when I came back with my backpack full of rocks, I dumped it by the front door because we were going to stream. That was on Sunday. So I like dumped my bag by the front door, and every time I walk past it, I'm like, oh, I should, I should open that up and look at what rocks there are in there. But I don't. I haven't yet. I still don't know what there
Mojo,
is.
what's it like in Denver right now? Mojo lives in Denver, and Denver is not too far south of me, but they're a little bit lower than we are.
Is that
So
like
I'm always curious how Denver, Colorado is doing weather-wise. We got fresh snow and it's getting down to down to 3 degrees tonight. So that's how we're doing here.
I don't know my way
Cold and
around.
snow, yeah. Yeah, we got snow too. I hear the puppy.
She's barking, but there won't be anything there. What time is it? No, because like she might bark at the postie, and I have to be careful because after because he doesn't come and bring the stuff, and he reported the dog to the council, so I don't think I'm going to have a problem with him. But I guess that sometimes even posties go on holidays, and then there's a different postie. But I think it's too late. They would usually come earlier in the day. Maybe it's a bird. It's a mystery. I feel like maybe I should go and call her. I can't tell. But yeah, and I could go and get my bag, but I feel like it won't be that exciting. Oh, here she comes.
I had fun the other day with my little dog, my little shit. Her name's Star, but I call her Boo Boo all the time. She answers to either one. But she has this thing going on with the cats. It's this love-hate relationship. Like she wants to play with them, and at other times she acts like she hates them. And I know, like a week or so ago, I know Mario beat the shit out of her because she was really sore for a couple of days and doing a lot of yiping every time the cat even looked at her. But the other day, this was so much fun. I fed them just before I went to bed. I fed her and I fed the cats. And I know what she did was she wolfed down her food as fast as she could, and then went over and chased the cats off of their food and wolfed it down too. And then she came and got up into bed with me and threw up all over my bed.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I thought it was very pleasant. I'm like laying there and I hear her like gagging, and then I smell the awful smell, of cat food and vomit all mixed together. And I'm like, and it's like touching my back, but I got a spot on my back that's getting warm, and I'm just like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, that kept me awake for a while I changed my bedding and everything. And then I wouldn't let her get up in the bed with me again all night. She was mad at me.
Well, I'm so insensitive because if my dog makes the slightest retching sound, I start yelling at her, out, out, out. I try to chase her.
Get the hell off my bed.
So, I know she's probably feeling bad in that moment, but that's no reason I can see to also vomit in the house.
And have throw up on your bed, yeah. Yeah, that was very unpleasant, I must say.
I can imagine. I don't let my dog go in my bed anymore. I used to let her, but I just decided that I don't want hair in my bed anymore, and also she doesn't know the difference between like if she's wet or dirty to not jump on it. So I decided she just has to learn not to jump on it. And she's mostly really good, but like every now and then, if she thinks that I'm preoccupied in some way, so it'll be like if I'm talking to the kids or something, but I'm still sitting in the bed, then she tries to do these really sneaky jumps in where she just sort of like jumps up really gently and like slides in, and then she stays really still, hoping that she won't get noticed. And it's kind of funny. Start talking about it, and it's like she knows, and she cowers deeper and deeper into her frozen position, hoping. But then as soon as I say, you really should be down, you know, then she slinks back off the bed. But she's pretty good, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Boo Boo gets like underneath the covers. She has to sleep underneath the covers. I mean, like totally buried in the covers. And she weighs like 4.5 pounds, and I'm always afraid I'm going to roll over on top of her or something, you know.
very small. My dog's like, I don't know, she's like 20, almost 20 kilos, so it's like 10 pounds. Is that right? I think so.
I don't know. I don't know kilos at all.
I think it's like 2, because even though we don't use pounds and kilos, what I do know is that my mum used to always say some things about roasting meat. And so one of her things was with lamb, it was like 20 minutes per pound and 20 minutes over. And I'd be like, what does that even mean? And she was like, well, it's like 500 grams. And I was like, okay, so 20 minutes per 500 grams, but the saying is apparently pounds. So that's the only way that I know it. From that she used to say about cooking meat. But, you know, it might not be quite right. I usually just ask my kid these kinds of things, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I just use Google. 1 kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. What a kilo? A kilo is 2.2 pounds. So, Boo Boo, my little dog, basically weighs 2 kilos.
Which is not very much.
No, she's pretty small. And she gets underneath the covers totally and buries herself. But she watches me. Like if I start to roll over, she moves back and lets me roll over, then gets up her position again. And then when I get up in the morning, I'll like sit up on the side of the bed, and she'll come out from underneath the covers and roll over and have her belly up in the air, you know, like, okay, you may rub me now.
Yeah. My dog, when I was a kid, used to always sleep in my bed. And so what we used to do is she wasn't allowed in my room. But at our house, I had like a deck that went all around the back of the house. And so my room had a sliding door that opened out onto the deck, and so did the lounge room. So every night I'd say goodbye to my mum, as good night to my mum, and I'd say, okay, Dizzy, you have to go outside now. Good night. And I'd like put her outside, and she'd sit there, you know, dutifully looking sad that she's been put outside to sleep for the night. And then I'd go to bed, and when I would get to my bedroom, she'd be there waiting at the door, and I would sneak her into my bedroom. And then my bed was like really tall, so our neighbour made it at high school, and it was like she had like a ladder, so I could have a desk and things underneath.
Oh, nice.
Really long legs. It was like a bed up, and she would climb up the ladder. It was harder for her to get down. I'd have to help her getting back down again. But then she used to come and climb up the ladder and sleep with me all night up in my loft bed. And then my mum would always be like, I don't understand how your room smells like a dog when the dog's never in here. I don't know how she didn't catch on. Oh, little face.
I didn't have any pets when I was growing up. We had one cat, but it was an outside cat. But my mom and dad were not animal people, so the first thing that happened when I left home was I started getting lots of animals all the time.
Well, we always had cats from when I was really little, but that dog was I just begged and begged and begged and
Hi,
begged.
Anthony.
My sister's friend's dog had puppies, and so that's why my begging came to fruition. And I got that dog. I was madly, madly in love with her for all of her life, even to the point where when she got really old and I was a teenager. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my love, and hello, Pam.
Hello.
Sorry, keep going. I came in at an inopportune moment during your story time.
That's right. It's not that interesting because it's really just about how when my dog got really old, I still used to let her sleep in my bed, even though most nights she would then wee the bed and I'd have to get up in the night and change all of my bedding and stuff. But I couldn't bear for her not to be there with me. She was old.
Yeah, it was sad for me when Buddy, my last dog that died, he was a German Shepherd, and I had to put him down when he couldn't stand up anymore because he got hip dysplasia. But I knew when he was starting to get it because he couldn't get up on my bed anymore. I have like a antique bed with rails and stuff, and it sits up really high up off the ground, and he always slept with me, but it got to a point where he couldn't jump up there anymore, and that was very sad.
What is it now? 2 years since Buddy? About 10 months? 2 years?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years since he passed away.
Mm.
And I still miss him because he was like a really good dog.
He was a good boy.
Yeah,
G'day, Cat. G'day, Huawei. Hello,
he
everyone
was
else.
a special guy. But you know what? After he passed away, about 2.5 months after he was gone, I was laying in bed one night. I had just gone to bed, and I felt him jump up on the bed and lay down at my feet. Seriously, about 2.5 months after he was gone. It just happened the one time, but I definitely felt him jump up on the bed with me. And you were probably looking at me like, yeah, she's out of her frickin' mind.
If it felt real for you, it was real. That's all that counts, isn't it? G'day,
Yeah.
G'day, Mummy. Jenny Lynn, how are you? Anthony, I think I said hi to Anthony. Trash Cat, OJ. Sorry I'm late, by the way. It's that stupid o'clock of the daytime. Oh, by the way, I'd like to get a, what do you call it? A sweepstake? A raffle? Something like that going. My lawnmower man is due to come this afternoon. And I was saying to myself, I bet within 5 minutes of me coming on, he'll
He's
turn
going
up.
to show up.
So I did just stay inside, even though it's quite lovely outside today. It would have been nice to be out there, but yeah, I knew I was going to be probably deafened by noise within minutes of starting. So it'd be fun to put. I'll stake a full bucket of kudos on the person who comes closest without going over. Of how many minutes after I came in does the lawnmower guy show up?
I'll go 15.
Oh shit! That means I have to also find out what time I came in. I can do
Well,
that. I've still got us open on the other window in the YouTube. There we go. ways. Where do they show you the time on this nonsense? What?
Y-Way's going to go with 25.
Of course, it's live. So I don't get a time signature on a time signature.
Well, I'm going to go with 10 o'clock my time straight up that you came in. That was 3 minutes ago. We'll call it good at 3 minutes ago.
Right. Okay. I like arbitrary numbers.
And Jenny Lynn says 20 minutes. And Y-Way says 25. And I said 15.
It's quite
this is Easter weekend's coming up.
Yeah. Yay.
So do
generally,
you guys do anything for Easter?
I'll hear hang on a sec. I'll hear the lawnmower man's bass from his car stereo coming before I'll hear him coming. By the way, just thought I'd add that. Boom, boom, boom. Likes his reggae.
Oh,
yes, we do. Easter. It's so much fun.
I found the best thing for Easter, because I always try to find something good for Easter every year. And I found the best thing for Easter. I'm going to pull it up here. And I was thinking about using it on Saturday's stream in the thumbnail, but I just don't know how many people I would offend.
Is it just whiskey?
No, I'll show you real quick.
Whiskey's great for Easter.
Usually, I've done like last year, I think I did the Labrador Retriever with the bunny ears in his mouth for a happy Easter. Yeah. And then I've done the dead rabbit on the road with the Easter basket with broken eggs surrounding it. I've done that one before. But I found a new one for this year.
When I was into the rugby league football down here, my team was the Rabbitohs. So their mascot was a rabbit, and for quite many games in a row, I had a couple of friends who every time my team would cop a massive hiding, they'd send me that picture of that retriever with the partial
rabbit ears. Yeah. Yeah. So there's my picture for this year. So I'm not sure if I'll dare to use it on my thumbnail or not. What do you think?
Well,
I mean, I like it, but I don't know how offended people get.
I think most people that know us have a similar sense of humor.
Yeah.
To understand that it comes from a joking place. It doesn't mean one of us wants to dress up in rabbit suits and go and abduct children under the influence of chloroform. So yeah, it's a delicate knife edge to wander across, but I'd say just go for it.
I posted one time on one of my favorite little cartoons. I posted it on Facebook, and I insulted so many religious people that, they got, like, seriously, I think at least 6 people commented that they were unfriending me. It's like, well, shit. All it was is this little, like, these 2 little mice, like, standing at another mouse's door, and he's got the door open. There's these 2 mice standing there, and it says that they're church mice. And it says, and they're saying, "Have you found cheeses yet?" And I like it, and everybody got insulted by it, but I still like it.
I like that. Adorable.
Where was I? I think I might be creating a memory. But I'm sure there was a bakery near somewhere that I used to live. Now you're just somewhere that I used to live. And they used to put like funny signs on like a chalk A-frame out on the footpath every other day sort of thing, or make up a new one. And one of them said, "Cheeses crust, how the focaccia." Didn't land very well, did it?
Oh.
I guess because as Australians, we probably say more often, "Oh, Jesus Christ, how the fuck are ya?" Probably doesn't translate very well. Damn.
I remember my kids got mad at me one time because it was like the day after Christmas. Oh, that looks good.
Nice. Oh, yeah,
Okay, I blew you up. Show it again.
No pens.
That's fine.
Oh, that looks really cool. I love the little wing thing on him. Oh, and then Blacky disappeared.
Gone. Get gone and get a drink.
No. I went to get my fresh new box of pens and the small size notepad.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I guarantee 1,000,000% that there's no way I'm churning out one piece of art per show, let alone the 2 or 3 that Sarah will knock out. What are you showing me? Different papers?
Different papers. I was hoping to finish this one, maybe. This one, I don't know what's happening with it. These pieces are like, they're quite thin, actually. In this size. That's so cool.
Is that better or worse, Sarah?
Well,
Different strokes for different tokes.
I guess I always really like how like solid they are when they're the thick one. They don't bend. They're, I don't know. They're just really solid. And certainly with like moisture, you can probably absorb a lot more because it's a really thick. You can do a lot more inking and stuff onto that. Whereas if you've got your pory ink on this, it's a bit too thin. It's kind of something like one of those is like 2 of these together.
Yeah, gotcha.
But for look, like they look the same. Anyway, I'm going to get a drink and just check that Billy did indeed come back.
My Trash Cat said before in the chat something about she heard something about me.
She did what?
She said something in the chat that she heard something about me, or maybe just that I was in the chat. It might have been all. Unless she's hearing rumours.
Rumors? Oh no. There's been plenty of rumors about me over the years. I just don't worry about it. I don't know, Blacky. Sometimes I tend to piss people off. Can you believe that? I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know why, because I never say anything out of line, but it just happens sometimes. Totally confuses me. Because I'm perfectly behaved all the time.
Scratchy.
I was partway done with the buffalo butt, and then I realized that I had done that one before, so I had to throw it away. So now I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Because we can't have a repeat buffalo butt, you know that. Okay, everybody's too quiet. Knock it off.
No. I'm trying to drawing. Where did Mikey go? He disappeared altogether.
Oh, sorry about that. I had one of those gnarly coughing fits that starts me almost vomiting because I can't loosen the roughage.
Well, that just doesn't sound pleasant.
It wasn't. It was quite unpleasant. Pete and repeat were sitting on a fence. Pete fell off. Who was left? Peter?
Patty, hello.
G'day, Paddy. Paddykins was left on the fence. Doesn't make sense, Huawei. What do you call it when a caveman farts? A blast from the past.
Oh my God.
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that on my computer before. I've just had a notification for breaking news.
When the stream first started and you guys weren't here yet, I was talking away and all of a sudden my screen went black. And then my computer started up over again. I mean, like totally as if I had shut the whole computer off, not just the internet, the whole computer. Like I had to sit there and wait for it to go through the whole thing, that it didn't shut down properly, and and wait and put my password in again and wait and wait and wait and wait. And then I clicked on Chrome and nothing on Chrome wanted to pull up for a minute. And finally I got the stream back, but I have no idea what happened. I didn't hit a button or anything. I was just talking.
Buttons weren't to blame.
So.
Hi, puppies.
She still doesn't quite understand how much I despise being with guide dogs. Always just slips a little bit out to just like test if I would like to get them. And I have to tell her every time, no, don't do that. No. Funny though, because it's like I've been having this dog and talking with my kids and like thinking about when I was a kid. Like I used to walk to the shops with my dog and buy an ice block, and then we would sit on the bench down at the shops and share the ice block. So I would have a little bit, and then she would have a little bit, and then I would have a little bit, and then she would have a little bit. And I don't think that was gross at all. I thought it was really cute.
Yep. There was when I first moved away from home when I was about 18, I worked for some people that raised German Shepherds. And I used to, like, the dogs lived in kennels, but I used to, every day I'd take a different one out to spend time with me. And there was this one big male named Thor, and I used to take him into town with me because he loved ice cream cones. So I'd always take him to town and get him an ice cream cone when it was his turn.
Just the cone, or you'd put some ice cream in it for him too?
Oh no, I'd give him the whole ice cream in a cone. Vanilla ice cream. I always got him vanilla. Hi, George.
I used to walk with my dog to the markets, and dogs weren't allowed like inside the market, so I'd make her sit outside and wait for me. But I'd go and buy a hot dog and a bottle of water.
Yeah, I had at that time I had my first car, which was a 65 Barracuda. And they have like a big bubble window in the back. And I stopped at the store one time and I left Thor in the car and I went in and got a few groceries. And one of the box boys walked up to me and he says, "Is that your Barracuda out there with the dog?" And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Stand over here by the window and watch him for a minute." So we stood there and was watching, and he was like laying in the back end where the bubble window was, but he was laying down where just his eye, you could just see his eyes if you looked, you know, he had his ears pinned back and just his eyes over the rim of the window watching. And I was parked up close to the front of the store, so he would lay there and he would wait for somebody to get right up next to the car, and then he would jump up and bark and dive against the window with his fangs out and everything, you know, and saliva dripping, and hit the window like he was ferocious. And the people would scream and fall back against the car parked next to me, and he'd be wagging his tail, and then he'd lay back down and wait for the next person to come.
That's a fun dog.
Yep. Oh. Dogs can be assholes sometimes.
They can. I do love German Shepherds though, but so my brother-in-law had one who was really obsessed with playing fetch. Like to the point where she would go and get like a half a bit of dried grass and like lick it out onto your leg and then wait expectantly to see if she could come up for her. And it's like she could barely even like wipe it off her mouth onto you. But yeah, so she was always trying to find something and always wanting to play fetch. But then in the end, it was her undoing because she like choked on a tiny little bit of stick one day. So
Oh.
it's a bit sad. It was beautiful though.
My first German Shepherd, his name was Stony, and I took care of his brother a lot too, so I'd have the two of them out together when they were puppies. And his brother's name was Munchie, so we had Stony and Munchie, and Stony was mine. So my younger brother was coming home from college for the summer. So he showed up at my house because I didn't live with my parents. I lived by myself. So he showed up at my house and he brought in 4 really nice marijuana plants that he'd been growing in college and he couldn't take home with him. So he asked me to take care of them for him. So he put them like in my bedroom, and we were in the living room, and I had some weed and we smoked and got high, and we were sitting there, and Stony came and sat down by me, my German Shepherd pup, and I had a cat, and my brother was looking at my cat, and he said, "You got to be really careful with that cat because the cats will eat my plants." And he says, "You know, I don't want your cat eating my plants." And he's like, blah, 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 right? So Stony came and sat down beside me, and I looked down and he licked my leg, and I had on blue jeans. And you got to remember, I was stoned. So I'm sitting there and I'm staring at my blue jeans at my knee, and there's a green leaf. And I'm staring at it, and it dawned on me it was a leaf of his plant. And of course, I thought it was extremely hilarious at the time. Oh, yeah.
So the cats aren't going to eat your plants, but Stony might.
Yeah. Oh.
I was staying with my friends in high school, and we baked a cake that was like, we had a giant big salad bowl full of buds, and we turned that whole salad bowl into one small disgusting cake. I say disgusting because we were out in the bush and we didn't have flour, but we had like pastry mix, and we didn't have sugar, but we had honey, and we didn't have like cocoa or anything, but we had Milo. I don't know if you guys have Milo, but we tried to just make it up and make this cake. It was really disgusting. Anyway, I took home like a lunchbox full, and I lived in a caravan underneath our house, and we had two dogs. We had my dog Disney and my stepdad's dog, who was called Max. And Disney was always in my caravan with me and everything. But Max never went in my caravan, like, because he wasn't my dog, so he was never in there. And one time after I had the lunchbox in my caravan, I came into the caravan and the lunchbox was on the floor and it was empty. And it had like a lot of incredibly potent mole cake in it.
Uh-oh.
And so I thought my dog had eaten it, and I was distraught, and I went to her and I was like looking at her and talking to her, and I was like, she's just normal. She's fine. She's not even dying. It's all fine. So I was like, oh, phew. So I like cuddled her and everything's fine. Don't know why her cake didn't affect her, but she seems to be alive. So all good. And then I hear my mum from upstairs screaming out my name. So I ran upstairs and she's saying, Sarah, Max is dying. He's dying. And she's got me. And Max was standing there with his legs, but like kind of splayed out, and he was like shaking and like looking off in the distance and absolutely freaking out. And she was like, oh, he's dying. He was quite an old dog. And so then she had me call the vet to come and look at him, but the vet like answering his, and we couldn't get onto him, and she was like freaking out. And in the end, he actually survived, and the vet never came. I was so scared because I was like, the vet's going to come, and then he's going to say the dog's stoned, and it's going to be my fault. I'm going to get caught for having but poor old Max, he really he went on that trip,
Oh,
but
dear.
at the time, I was just so grateful it wasn't my dog. Sorry, Max. You're a nice dog.
You were just more expendable than Disney.
Yeah. He was a shepherd too, actually. He was a Belgian shepherd.
I like them a lot. A mate of mine had a nice long-haired black one, very little tan on it at all. It's a gorgeous dog.
Yeah, that was Max too. I don't even think he had any tan on him. If it was a little bit.
Yeah,
Buddy was like your classic Rin Tin Tin looking dog.
Oh.
Stony, my first German Shepherd, he was mostly black.
Oh.
He was like a purebred Shepherd.
Well, that's like, yeah, the one I was saying who died of the choking. She was like that, like all black with just like the tan nose and the tan feet. Pretty sure. Her name was Whitney.
Yeah, Stony was mostly black, and he was huge. He weighed, when he was 6 months old, I took him into the vet to get, wormed and all that kind of stuff. And at 6 months old, he weighed 95 pounds.
Oh, shit.
He was a big dog, and he was black, and people were scared of him when they looked at him. But he was the biggest chicken shit dog I have ever owned. It's like if someone knocked on my door and I answered the door, he would be behind me, peeking out from behind my legs to see who it was. Or if I had company over, he'd get behind my chair and peek out from behind my chair at people. He was a big chicken shit, but I loved him.
You're smashing that one out, Scungy.
Well, I'm done with that one unless I decide to colour it in. And I don't think I am. I did it with the intention of colouring it, painting it, but
And Milo's just like a tastier version of Ovaltine. Huawei.
I mean, it's a bit different, but it's still like kind of malty. They're both kind of malty.
Okay, I pulled up a picture. I'll show you guys. I know Blacky remembers, but for people who were not around at the time and did not ever see, a couple years ago, did not meet Buddy, I'm going to show you a picture of him if I can. Oh no. Oh yeah, there I am. I thought I'd like find myself out of StreamYard would be just my luck for the way things are going tonight. Okay. Share screen, and in this window I have a picture of Buddy. There's my buddy. Buddy was a pretty cool dog. He was a pretty cool dog. He talked too much sometimes, but he was a pretty cool dog.
And you know, if talking about your dead pets and stuff makes you feel sad, people, reach out and talk to a friend or something.
It's only something that's emotional. I mean, my Disney died like 19 years ago or something, and still just talking about it makes me emotional. When she died, I couldn't get out of bed for like a week.
Oh yeah, when Buddy died, like even now it's been a couple years, and even now, like my memories or something will pull up on Facebook, and there'll be a picture of Buddy, and it just like breaks my heart every time.
Yeah. I don't know about people who say, "Oh, that's just animals," because I don't know. We're all just animals. So
Yeah, well,
some animals are really special in your life, whether they're humans or dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
So I decided to do a buffalo head.
The other end for once.
Yes.
Pardon me.
No. Hi, what are you doing? What's you doing? Sweet. You are a sweet girl. She learned how to wear fake ears yesterday. She didn't want to, but my son was really keen to see it. So I did like a little training thing for feeding her lots of treats every time she put the ears on.
Ah,
The ears were maybe quite a nice thing to wear after all. And she got about wearing little rabbit ears for a while. Yeah.
Buddy used to love the scarves. I'd tie scarves around his neck, and he would be so, when he got a new one, he'd be so proud of himself. I used to get him for holidays. All the holidays, he'd get a new scarf with the holiday theme.
I used to make Disney wear sunglasses and taught her how to ride a bodyboard at the beach. She was an exceptional dog. Really was though. She was border collie dingo.
Oh, that's a smart dog.
She was very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
Border collies and dingoes can be like too smart for their own good sometimes.
Yeah, well, so she was a wanderer when I used to go to school. She ended up in the local paper once as a menace to society.
Oh no.
But she used to have this thing that she would do where so I would go off to school on the school bus and I'd say goodbye to her in the morning, and then she used to go for a walk. So I think what she went down the road, and there was like an old man who lived down the road from our house. She used to go and visit him and go for a walk with him. And then he would come home and say goodbye to her and send her on her way, where she'd go and walk down to the local shops, where she'd turn up at the butcher, and the butcher would give her a bone to eat. And she would, thank you very much, take her little bone, have a chew, go walking, and then she would go to my godmother's house, and she'd go and have a visit with my godmother. It was like, so all the people said, like, it's the same time every day. She's here at this time. And she'd go to my godmother's house, and she'd stay at my godmother's house for, a couple of hours and have a visit there. And every day when I got off the bus, she was there waiting for the bus.
Kids need those kind of relationships.
Yeah.
Oh, they might not need them, but they're certainly incredibly beneficial.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I can just kind of finish this up and do a few little more lines. Very good. You have no excuse to not be pumping them out, though, now, Mikey. You've got all the bits.
Just not the incredible pace of production that you guys have.
But yeah, I'm sort of half contemplating doing it in rainbows and maybe putting some little markings or eyes on the tail feathers.
All right, Lawnmower Man's arrived and he started. Who got the sweep?
Oh, okay. Oh, we got 37 minutes.
Oh, no one even got close.
No.
Oh, well, sorry, Scunge, keep going. That was an anticlimax.
All right, I don't have anything to say because I don't really know what I want to do with this picture.
Don't be bragging, Grasshopper. Grasshopper says he's got the longest one at 25.
Isn't that the rule? It's just without going over.
Yeah.
Are
So
you
yeah.
give him your kudos?
Well, wait, bucket of kudos for the victory. I did say closest without going over. I was going to do an over-under, but I'm not a gambling man, so I don't understand what even the fucking over-under is.
No, I don't.
I probably should have made some more shit off the lawn for old mate, but he'll be right. He's a big boy.
I needed to come.
Sorry, Divine. At the moment, I'm on a wild turkey with Coca-Cola, no sugar. And then I'll drink some water, and then I'll have a turkey. So I'll be back on the turkey soda. It's like just one beverage with cola just leaves my mouth too now.
Cola is pretty gross.
It's a good kickoff point. Start with one of them, and then just go back to the mild flavors, the better flavors. I just realised something funny is that I got a box of those brand new pens, and I've just been using the bloody Broad, isn't it? Didn't even get one out yet.
The bloody Broad. I don't know whether to put colour on this picture. I'll leave him as he is. That means I can't put colour on him. Right. So, pictures. Oh, I did finish this one the other day that I didn't show everyone, but I'm quite pleased.
Hang on, I gotta blow you up. Whoa, don't put it down yet. I'm getting my mouse over there
I get
slowly.
and I get blown apart.
Oh, he's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yep, he looks pretty good. Is he for sale? Do we want to see if anybody wants to bid on him?
Look, he is for sale. I don't know if anyone's in the buying mood today.
Yeah, we don't have a whole lot. Yeah, we don't have a whole lot of people in here right now. 11.
But
It was like 18 when I came, or just before I came, so I think I scared everyone off. Sorry.
That must be it. Everybody can blame Blacky.
It makes sense. I mean, everyone was probably riveted listening to me and Pam talk about schools and kids and everything, and then you came along and
Yep. Just totally ruined the mood.
That's right. It's funny because talking about kids is like my go-to because it's such a big part of my life. And I don't know, it just comes so naturally compared to everything else.
Because you've got so many stories. Wait until they're in their 20s.
I don't even know if I've got any good stories or
Can people tell me too if the background noise gets too full on and I'll shut myself in?
Right now, I don't even hear it.
I have to decide what to do next. Something. I don't know. I'm going to finish this one, but I don't think I'm going to finish it right now. It's just not feeling like it is going to happen right now. So I don't know. Let's look at last houses. This cup is really, really nice, and I really like it. But it's really hard to get the last bit out of the cup.
I'll do a swirly like the kids do with beer bottles.
But what I need, it doesn't matter if I swirl it. What I need is to go like beyond. Yeah, because if I don't want to spill any out. It's like if I just go to the direction of my mouth, it all saves up in this little well down here. So I have to like really tip it over and beyond to get it to come out the lip. It's all right. It's the price I'm willing to pay for such a cup. All right, back in a sec. And you know what I'm drinking sounds so disgusting, but actually really nice. And it is. Vodka and oat milk.
Ew, that sounds kind of disgusting.
I know, right?
You were warned.
It is chocolate oat milk, but it's. It happened one day because I didn't have anything. That is a little bit noisy, that one.
What?
That one's noisy.
I'll tell you, You can hear the background noise now because I can't hear you at all.
I can hear it now. It sounds almost like someone's spraying water or something, though.
Whip snipping.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Wait. I'm not ready to go to bed. Oh, bother. I can't fit all my papers back in their sleeve. I'm going to have to leave them out.
A bit better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, sorry. I meant to do that before I walked out the door. Well, wait. What are we looking at here? Oh, you've saved my present wrappings.
I don't know where to start withdrawing.
Lucky you know where to finish.
I want to draw something, but I have like different pens and different papers. Oh, but do you know what I do know? I do know it's getting hot. Yeah, put the fan on me. How did it get like that? One spot. Yeah. I just kind of feel like doing something fun and different. But I'm limited in what I've brought to my desk.
Are you okay?
Right.
Ouch.
Yep, you totally killed the chat. I
Well, how did he do that?
don't know.
Talking
Says,
about
how was
Sarah
your day?
Jones'
My
house.
day was cold. We've had wind the last 2 days, and the internet has been off and on because the wind's been blowing so hard. And then last night it started snowing,
Just
and
something different.
we got up to a high temperature of 17 degrees today, and we're going to have a low of 3 degrees. And I had something coming that I had ordered that was supposed to be said on the truck for delivery. So I spent the whole day like jumping every time I heard anything outside and running to the window to look outside if my delivery was here. And my nose pressed against the glass and everything, and I kept looking, and it wasn't delivered yet. And it said it was on the truck for delivery, on the FedEx truck. Okay, so the FedEx truck comes out of their office in Cheyenne, which is about 40 miles from Laramie to the east of Laramie on freeway Interstate I-80.
Doesn't have
And
to come
after
through a
5
mountain
o'clock,
range
when
or
I
something
still hadn't
yourself.
gotten my package, I decided to check. And lo and behold, I-80 has been closed all day because of the snow. So they freaking lied to me, Blacky. They lied to me. It was not on the truck for delivery.
Well, they might have been on the
It might have
truck.
been on the truck, but the truck wasn't coming here.
It was still parked up in a yard somewhere, snowed in.
Yep. High to mid 70s there. Well, it wasn't here. We had a high of 17. And then I saw a deal posted on said Wyoming where April showers bring snow plowers. Which in the US we have a saying, April showers brings May flowers. So it was like that, only it was in Wyoming, April showers bring snow plowers.
You got to go where the work is.
Yeah. Trash Cat says, I don't think I'd like Wyoming's weather. Well, all you'd have to do is wait a couple hours and it's going to change anyway, so.
At least I know where to head when I want to experience subarctic temperatures.
Yeah. Wyoming has 2 seasons.
Cold and colder?
No, we have winter and road construction.
Is that to mend what winter has messed up, or it's just when weather's
pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. It's like soon as it warms up, then you have to like sit forever on the freeways waiting or switch lanes where they have it narrowed down to 1 lane and cones everywhere and 25 miles an hour and all that stuff.
Well, I got excited because I found out that one of the roads near here that washed away in the floods at the start of last year, that they have a plan to start fixing it,
Oh, awesome.
which is quite good because it's been a long time. And like there are a lot of roads that got washed away and need to get replaced after those floods, but that's the first one that has a plan in place. So that's good. What it's going to mean for me is mostly I'm lucky because where my old house was, there was a road washed out there, which really hindered our travel. But now I don't live there anymore, but I still work out there, so I still hope that road gets fixed. But where I live now, I can still get in and out of town. But the other road being washed out, what it means is that all these people on this side all have to come up past our house to get in and out of their homes. And plus, that means really long travel for a lot of those people to get into town. So it's just really nice to see that the council's kind of moving on something. But like it won't make a huge difference personally, but less traffic past my house maybe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much that changes.
Yeah. Well, me and Teo have surmised that we're going to have less of. So on Sunday, so I don't know if this is a thing everywhere, but in our area, there's like a thing of like Sunday is like ride day, and lots of people go in groups of bike riders and go for rides on Sundays. And there's a whole group of motorcyclists who like to go out to the town who's over on this side of me, but they have to come up the road and they have to come all past our house. So on a Sunday morning, we get this constant stream of motorbikes coming past, which is really, really noisy. But me and Tara reckon that's going to stop when the road opens because they're all going there. So they're going to come up the other road because this is not the best way to get to that town. But we'll see. It's all right.
Really, my wake up call on Sunday mornings is the big cavalcade of the grey nomads coming into town down the tunnel road early on Sunday morning. Grey nomads. Wait, no, they're the caravanners, aren't they? What are the
You just made them nomads, aren't they?
nomads? Ulysses Club. I think the old motorbikers are called down here.
Okay.
Can you still hear it now?
Yeah.
All right, I'll just mute myself for a little while because he's just outside my window here.
For a little while, because if you're muted, then you can't talk either. And I can talk, but I can't say interesting stuff. I have the skill of making sounds and moving my mouth, but I just don't have a brain that makes good words up.
You do better than I do a lot of times.
I try really hard to. I'm so inclined. I've been such an isolated person and not done a lot of talking. So I try really hard to. It would be really easy for me to sink into not speaking at all. I try not to do that. I try and remind myself to do speaking. I don't know what's happening on this drawing here.
I'm just playing around pretending to draw a buffalo.
Just pretending.
Yeah.
I'll
show you so far.
Okay. Oh, but that is a nice face. Look at that. Not really pretending. You're drawing a lovely buffalo. It looks very tactile. Like you could touch it. Like you want to touch it and scruff its little face, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's what it's actually in Yellowstone Park. It's the start of tourist tossing season, so for people that want to pet the buffaloes.
Yeah. See, we don't have buffalo, although I have been shoved by a cow. You know, when I was trying to encourage her to go in the right direction to go home out on the road. And yeah. She didn't like butt me, but she came up and just like shoved. That's my closest. But for wild animals, so we don't have buffalo, but at my old house we used to have lots and lots of goannas. And we used to have this one biggest, hugest goanna that we called the granddaddy goanna. And I just find them like so adorable. And used to come up like really close to me. It was really peaceful. And all I wanted was I just want to like pet him and kind of like snuggle with him. And wouldn't he like that a lot? But I don't think he would. And he did have very long claws. So I never did it. But I felt like in my heart like I wanted to. I wanted to snug really closely with him. But I didn't. So, you know, I figured that as much as he looked really adorable and lovable and huggable, that I may have been projecting that onto him.
Yep.
And that in his heart, he was not hoping that some strange creature would come and smush their body against him. So, you know. I still hope that I'll have the time to make up a couple of little videos to put up of some of the pictures and videos of wildlife and stuff that I've got. I want to, and I talked about it on one of the streams that I was thinking about it. And
Yeah,
after that,
I think that would be awesome. I think you need to do that for sure.
Got to dedicate the time towards it.
Yeah.
I can hear you again.
You can see me again now. I only unmuted myself. I didn't switch my camera back on. We'll see if his lawnmower is louder than his blowy thing. Won't be for a while anyway. He'll do the front. What?
I said, we'll see. We're going to find out. We're on an adventure together to discover.
It's all on the edge of our seats.
I know, right? I don't know what's happening with this picture. I'm like kind of scared to show, but I'll show it anyway because yeah, see, putting it up there, you can't tell. I have like plans and ideas about it because it's got someone and someone else.
I reckon if Bob was here, he'd call it Sandra D. Does that reference make sense, Pam?
No.
was Sandra Day Gidget?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, right. It's like Gidget doing a pose on the surfboard.
I don't know Gidget, but isn't Sandra Day like Olivia Newton-John?
No. How do you mean? Olivia Newton-John played Sandy in Grease.
Yeah, but then what's the song that they sing in Greece? About look at me, I'm Sandra Day. Am I mixing things up?
I don't know. I'm not that knowing of Grease.
Yeah,
Neither
but
am I.
the girls like tease her when she goes for the sleepover. And they sing that song about her.
And they call her Sandra Day.
I think so.
Oh, yeah, that one would.
I totally, like, hang on, let me just quickly say, this doesn't just go for this conversation, it goes for all conversations. I could absolutely be wrong about everything, always. I don't really know stuff, but it's like kind of catch a little in my brain.
It would make sense because they would be making comments because I believe Greece opens on like the beach scene with them all having fun at summer and stuff, doesn't it?
I think it opens on the scene of her and John Travolta having their loving interaction on the beach.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that I know this much about Greece. I swear I've only watched Greece like once or twice.
And,
I've never watched it actually.
I watched it when I was like 11.
I believe.
Yes, please.
I believe the opening scene of Grease was very closely based on Gidget, the movie, and lots of the beach work and action that they did in that movie.
Yeah.
So it would make perfect sense that there would be a reference in a Grease song to Olivia's character being Sandra Dee. Because I think she didn't just do Gidget. I think she did lots of those like surf flicks in the 60s and stuff, didn't she?
Who did?
Sandra Dee.
That's her real world name?
Yeah, she was an actress and she played Gidget in the 60s.
Okay, sorry, I don't know, so I'm asking for your
I thought I'd already said that and made that point. Oh,
well,
hello.
no, I just don't know whether Sandra Dee was like the character or the actress.
Right, gotcha. I may have accidentally drawn Billy.
What have you accidentally drawn?
Maybe a Billy. But it's so tiny.
A subtle subconscious.
Oh. I got to try and get close enough yet far enough for the flash to work and for it to focus. Maybe out of focus might work better. Yeah, I have to send it on. I'm going to show it to you on proper camera because the screen, it's so tiny it won't even show up on the screen. It's either Billy or Black Falcor. I mean Belcor.
Oh, Billy, like my dog.
What did you think I meant?
Like a Billy.
A bong.
Yeah. You know, if we put an elastic band around her ears, she could look like that. You know? I've tried that before, but she doesn't like it. But also,
I wonder why. Or do you mean a hairband? Surely you don't mean like a rubber band from a newspaper. You mean a hairband or something.
yeah, same.
No, because rubber bands tear your hair and stuff and be very painful.
Yeah, they do. No, I would have used one of the cotton-covered ones that I use in my own hair. However, she can be taught to like pretty much anything with food.
She endured the rabbit ears, so the sky's the limit.
Right?
Maybe you need to get someone to craft you like a Billy-sized saddle, and then find a creature to ride her on the saddle. Oh, your marionette puppet. You and Billy could do a show where your marionette puppet rides the Billy with a saddle, and you wander around and do all the voices and the commands for Billy to do when she wants.
I would definitely teach her that. The reality is that I don't put enough effort into her in terms of like teaching her stuff. She is very trainable, and anything I set my mind to teaching her, I can, except how to not bark at motorcycle riders who are behind us in the car, or just generally not bark at strangers. But what I was going to say is, since the other day, and then the kids came home, and I was all like, please, 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 can I hang my puppet in my room? And he's let me. He's let me hang it in my room.
Awesome.
And that, I got to just go like to the op shop and find myself like a nice big mirror that I can lay down so I can practice puppet operations.
How big does the mirror need to be?
Well,
bigger than the one I've got here.
What's that? Oh, the one near your fish tank. Probably. Yeah. Probably that would be better. The bigger the better. We used to have a really big one that I was going to do. I had good plans for my puppeteering. It was going to be wonderful until I traumatized my child.
Oh, dear.
Bloody children getting in the way of your dreams again. Goodness me.
Right. I'm out. Can I put this out there to the people? Has anybody done A, Hapkido, B, boxing? Because I'm just interested. I don't know much about Hapkido, but there's a class and I'm thinking of sending my kid to do it because my kids before used to do Aikido, which is different, but they don't have that here. But also the kid I want to do it, I don't think Aikido is the right thing anyway for him. But when I went and had my meeting at school, one of the things the principal said was she was like, maybe boxing. I think boxing will be good for him. And it's funny because Mikey has that like boxing fighting guy that he thinks is just like my son. I don't know if I'm
we are talking about Loki.
We are talking about Loki. But so the thing about boxing is I want him to get punched in the head in terms of like I want him to have a brain when he gets older. But can he go and learn boxing without the risk of actually getting punched in the head? And what's like the difference in how you're going about like when you're learning in boxing, what it's like, or what's Hapkido like? Does anyone have these answers? Because it's just something I'm interested in.
What's the other one? Hapkido.
I would like Hapkido.
Hapkido. I don't know if I've even heard of it.
I mentioned it to the teacher, and she was like, "I'm going to write that down. What is it? Hatketo." And I was like, "No. It's not Hatketo. It is Hapkido. I don't know. Well, I only know. Well, so I think that keto is like art. But what is the hap? I don't know.
All right, so it's a form of judo. throwing body. Yeah, that's a good one. Because it's not, I don't think there's much punching in the face in Hapkido.
Okay. What about Taekwondo? Hang on, let me just check if that's what.
Yeah, Taekwondo, most people think as a waste of time.
I'm just going to check if it's the one I'm thinking of.
Lots of them are just about doing the patterns, and if you can repeat the patterns in front of your sensei, you can get yourself a black belt quite easily.
Okay, I thought Taekwondo was like the Korean kickboxing.
It is, yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
But the way you get graded in Taekwondo is just by being able to repeat patterns and stuff like that. It's not actually you reckon on winning fights sort of thing.
So you reckon that Hapkido is going to be better than Taekwondo? And what about boxing?
Boxing's definitely a skill that I think every boy should be learning these days.
My mum knows a guy who teaches kids boxing or something.
And also, the obvious benefit is of any self-defense, whether they be, effective or claimed ineffective, is that they teach kids routine and discipline and all that kind of stuff. I know it's a cliche thing to say, but it's pretty accurate, and lots of young boys need that.
Mine does very, very definitely need something. And so the things I've found available, they are going to start Taekwondo classes down at the local hall. There's Hapkido in town, and my mum knows someone who does boxing. So I have to start him on something. He has to do something. This kid is the most physical person I've ever had interactions with. He is so physical. And then he sort of stopped being physical because after his bullying and teacher stuff that he had, he's just like sort of crunched into himself. And until he starts like getting that out, he was this kid. He wants me to literally stand, lay, and squash him into the ground since he was little. Like he wants to get squashed. He likes to. He expresses like these feelings with push. So he's like got all these strong feelings. So we would always come together and have these like push. He needs this really physical interaction, and I just don't know the best way to offer it to him. So I've got to start him somewhere. So I just feel like having some advice or guidance from people who know, because I haven't done any of them. So
that makes we had a discussion the other day about certain things, and that makes one of the things that you said a little bit clearer about the stuff that used to happen in the pool and whatnot. It looks like Krav Maga is always the best Huawei. That's one of the best ones you could ever do, but it's not readily available around here.
Krav Maga classes in Moorlambar.
But yeah, the things like I've done 44 seconds research on Hapkido, but it looks more judo-y and throwy and wrestly based, which is definitely good skills to have. And then if he's doing something boxing as well, that's taking care of the upstairs and where to stand and how to move and stuff. It'll be a good rounded set of skills to have.
And there's no reason he can't potentially do the Hapkido and the boxing if the guy is a really good friend of my mum and wants to teach him for free.
Does that I'll made it the same one man do both courses?
No. So there's Hapkido. I just can't afford heaps of stuff for him. I can't afford a lot of stuff. So I was like, I've got to choose something. But the boxing guy is a friend of my mum's. So he might, or at least he might introductorily do a few weeks with him to see if it's something he's really liking.
Is where he does his boxing stuff, is that in town in Moorlambar? Like, is it accessible to Loki after school? Can he walk there after school? Yeah, it's almost like a movie's unfolding in front of us. The kid goes down and starts hanging out at the boxing gym every afternoon. It's after school until mum picks him up after work. It writes itself, you know.
Right.
And if you want to get a decent idea of what Sarah's little wiry, gnarly kid, he's a strong young kid. Look at the UFC fighter Paddy. Bloody hell, I've already forgotten his last name. Pimblington. He's Paddy
None of those.
Pimblington.
Yeah, you find it. I don't know the person, but when you say it, I know that I just think it doesn't have like a LinkedIn and stuff. Maybe it's like a shorter version of those.
Plimpton, Paddy Plankton.
Plankton.
I got $1.50 that says that there'll be at least one person in the chat who knows the Scouser lad that we're talking about. I think I did like 5 English accents in one sentence then. Pimblet, that's it. Thank you. I knew someone in the chat would have it. I was kidding. Sarah got it first. Yeah, I think
he kept telling us how he was like him, and like, to be honest, I can see how he's like him, even to the point where, because he's put on a bit of chunk lately, and there's like a mixture of pictures of him like really fit and a bit chubbier, and also the attitude and stuff I can get.
Yeah, it's certainly before a kid starts getting into, you know, something like that, it's certainly not a deficit to have body fat and stuff, because it's converts pretty quick and they use it for energy and whatnot once they start burning it.
He's at the right age. Look, my boys all thin to 7 mega, and then like my eldest is like at his kind of natural healthy size now. So
I was also going to say that comparing Loki and Paddy, I definitely see the potential for Loki to have that sort of mouth that Paddy, what did we say his name is? Plimpton? Pimblet. Yeah, Loki's certainly got the potential to be just that right of lippy and cocky and sure of himself sort of thing.
Oh yes, he is definitely lippy, cocky, and sure of himself.
And, you know, they're very valid skills to have in this modern day and age.
That's one of the things I was talking to the principal about today. I was saying, like, all these things that make him, like, kind of difficult now are all really good qualities that are going to serve him really well. Just at the moment that make him a really difficult child. But
and that their grey area is not broad enough to you know, still not be able to pigeonhole these children for certain behaviours and stuff.
But you know, I was also talking to the teacher about how. So when he was little, a couple of things. I used to say, out of all my kids, I was like, this is a kid he's going to be all right. This kid's going to be all right. He's like a normal person. We're not all normal people. And I say that very affectionately. But his older brother is a highly sensitive, very unique individual. The older brother, again, is absolutely cool dude. But again, I don't know. He was just like this normal dude who was strong-willed and confident and sunny and could just like walk into any situation and be like, bah. Like, this kid's going to be all right. Actually, he's depressed. But anyway, there you go. But yeah, also like Teo said something about him. So when he was about 4, Loki was 4. So Teo was like 12. And Teo came to me and he was like, Loki is just like a better human being than I will ever be. And he's like 4 years old. And he's like, he just knows how to be a human better than I ever will know how to be.
That's some real liquid awareness from a 12-year-old, let alone a 4-year-old having those things that would make a 12-year-old think that. What a wild
Honestly,
situation.
Teo has made some amazing comments. One of my favorites, and this is an absolute genuine conversation I had with my son in the kitchen, and we used to buy raw honey from this place, but you would get like, it will come in a big 2-liter bottle. And so I used to get it and use a funnel to funnel it into like jars, so you could use each jar, because you can't really get it out of the 2-liter bottle properly and blah blah. So it would come straight from the farm in this big bottle, and I would rejar it with the funnel. And we were sitting there, and we were doing the funneling of the honey, and I can't remember, because we had been talking about something about, you know, about some concept of love. There was something about that sort of going on, but nothing very deep, and nothing that predicted the comment that he would make. And so he was probably about 5 or 6, and he said that he is like the funnel. He said, I'm like the funnel, and love is like the honey, and like the honey of love, it comes through me and then goes to other people, and I'm just like a funnel that funnels the love through. And I was like,
How old was he when he said this one?
about 5 or 6.
Far out, man. That's deep. Deep as.
Pretty fucking deep, isn't it? It's like, and like I said, we were talking something about love, but nothing that deep. It was just like about people that we loved and stuff, and how we should share our love to lots of people. And I was like funneling the honey into the jars, and then he was just like, yeah, I'm the funnel for the honey of love. I'm like, fuck.
He understands that love is the gooey sentiment.
And just understanding that you just like, yeah, you take it in and it like moves through you, and I don't know, it's pretty good. He's made lots of profound statements. He's actually kind of pretty cool person, I made.
Can I get someone to get me a timestamp, please, for earlier in the stream when Sarah said she doesn't have stories to tell about her kids?
I think I said that it may not be that exciting. I said talking about my kids comes the most naturally, and it's very easy for me to talk about them, but that the stories may not be that interesting. But, you know, I think that we can probably trust, like, Sam seems to be all over all the things.
Yeah, I think the time that I'm talking about was a different moment than the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was when Pam was threatening you with having to be solo for a minute. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm happy to find out. But yeah, but that same kid, oh, he's looking very nice now.
Very nice, very cute. Is that a young one? Oh, that's got decent sized horns. It's not too young.
Yeah, it's a fairly young female, probably like a year and a half old, I would say.
Almost at its tastiest.
Is it wrong to try and catch the fish out of the creek and eat them?
No.
Well, am I going to upset the little ecosystem down there?
Not by the look of it. If you're talking about those estuary perch, estuary cod, whatever they were called.
talking about catfish.
Oh, the catfish.
I'm saying catfish because I heard they're really good eating, and there's like 15 in there.
I think some people will probably agree with me that apparently because catfish are bottom feeders, it pays to like catch them and then put them in clean water for a day or two to sort of filter them out. But I'm not sure if that's old wives' tales or if you just go for it and deal with it anyway.
I'm not going to do that because if I catch it and I put it in some water and stuff and have to like live with it face to face, I'm going to just let that guy go. I'm honest.
I've also been told that skinning them is the hardest thing. So sometimes what people do is they nail them to like a fence post and deglove them. That sounds like fun.
I don't have a fence post.
You can improvise. That'd be interesting. I reckon if anyone could do something pretty wonderful with catfish, I reckon you'd succeed, love.
Yeah, you never know.
One way to find out. 149.27. Huawei.
49. Did you say? Aren't you like?
Oh, that's right. I can't still see timestamps, so I can't scroll back and confirm it. Anyway, it was irrelevant now, but I appreciate the effort, Huawei. Love you long time. What are you saying, Scungy?
Well, you said you were 49.
I know. I'm not 49.
I was arguing with you.
I said 149.27.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if they needed to. Have you finished your third pitch yet, Scungy?
No, I've not finished. I'm working on it. Oh, see, when I'm working on it, I'm okay with it. When I hold it up, I don't like it. Because you can't see all the little lines. So I guess graphically it might not be working. But we can only find out once it's done. Sorry.
41 minutes. Yeah, I thought it was much earlier than that, by the way. But it's all right. Let's not go there.
Yeah,
Oh,
go there.
Oops.
Yeah. It actually looks really good up close.
You can send me a photo of it if you like, and I'll try and show it.
I'll try.
Oh, g'day, Nola.
Nola.
Divine Love was saying something too before about sending Loki off to a summer camp for boxing or something like that. But no, I was just going to say I'm really quite certain that we don't have summer camps and things like that unless you're in an in crowd of a certain gym or something like that. They might do it, but you'd be talking, you'd need to be spending money.
Yeah, I know it's a big thing like in America, but don't they have a lot longer summer holidays, right?
Yeah.
Take like the whole summer off. So we get, I mean, like I think my kids get like 5 weeks in summer off. But technically it's like a month because that first week is your Christmas. And then they have a month. And there's not really camps. People don't really send their kids away to camps. You can do like workshopy type things with your kids. So that'll be like dropping them off each day for a week, okay? And they do an activity for a week. But yeah, it just doesn't work the same. However, I always found it kind of really interesting about the idea about summer camp, like a real summer camp. How long does that go for? Like, do you actually like do people really send their kids away for?
I think
Week?
most of them are like a week or 2 weeks. When I was living on Cape Cod, and I needed something to do with my daughter while I was at work during the day, during the summertime when there was no school, I sent her to the YMCA day camp where they learned canoeing and how to kayak and all that kind of stuff. And she had a great time, but unfortunately, it was like out in the woods, and like I say, they did camping type stuff and canoeing and hiking and all that stuff, and she got Lyme's disease. And I didn't know until she got it, and I started researching it, that it's actually very prevalent on Cape Cod. I did not know that until it was too late, and she had been out in the woods for 2 summers while I was working.
Did it mess her up pretty bad?
It did for a while.
Pardon me.
The thing with Lyme's disease, because I did a lot of research on it, is that there is like a 21-day treatment for it that was come up with by, I think, one doctor and a bunch of insurance people, a panel of them. And they came up with this 21-day treatment, and all it does is treat the symptoms. It doesn't treat the disease. And then at the end of 21 days, your insurance goes, oh, well, you're done. So,
Treated.
yeah. So the doctor told me when they found it, first they thought she had rheumatoid arthritis because her knees were swelling up really bad, and I took her into the doctor.
There's there's Scungy's picture if you want to show that.
Oh, yeah, I do. I just saw it just the same time you started to say something. That is awesome. But anyway, so the doctor told me, that they had me set up an appointment with a specialist for rheumatoid arthritis. And then the doctor called and told me to cancel that because they found in one of the blood tests, they found Lyme's disease. So they put her on the 21-day treatment, and the doctor was going to be off for a little while because she was having a baby. And she told me that to watch out for any neurological symptoms. And then she went on maternity leave. And one day, Megan was standing at the stove making lunch, and she went blind.
Jesus.
For about 5 minutes.
That's
and I
scary.
called the doctor, and she said to get her into the hospital to run some tests. Well, that poor kid, they did every test on her. They tested for epilepsy, and they just did everything. And the doctor in the emergency room told me that it was probably the Lyme's disease, but he was going to set her up with a pediatric neurologist that came to the Cape like once or twice a month. So he said he was going to set me up with an appointment to talk to him. And they set me up to see a specialist. Well, the doctors here have different groups. So like if you're going to see one doctor, there's like a whole group of doctors that they kind of affiliate with. So they set me up to see this specialist on diseases caused by bugs. I forget what they call it. But he was off the Cape, and I called to set up an appointment. and I couldn't get her in to see him for about 4 months. And by then, I'd been laid off work because I worked for a mortgage company, and it was like 2008. So the mortgage crisis hit and they went out of business. So I got laid off, but I had insurance for about 3 more months. And so I couldn't do that. So somebody told me about a doctor on the Cape that they said was a really good specialist, but he wasn't in my doctor's group. So I called him to make an appointment, and they said I had to have a referral. So I called my pediatric office, and I lied through my teeth and told them that I had gone to see the other doctor, and he had recommended this doctor on the Cape, but I needed the paperwork done. So yeah, I did. I lied to get her in to see him. Well, it ended up, but he put her on. He told me, in the meanwhile, we had the appointment with the neurologist, and he said that her going blind was a prelude to her having really bad periods when she got to be a teenager.
Interesting.
Which was just stupid. That was just stupid. But, that's doctors. But
So
I went and got her in to see this other doctor, and he told me it was definitely the Lyme's disease, and I told him that my insurance was just about to run out. So he was really nice. He gave her 2 subscriptions, and I don't remember what they were, but he said that they were the same thing that they treat malaria with. And he told me the 21-day treatment was just totally worthless. But he gave her 2 subscriptions, and he said that it was going to get a lot worse before it got better, because he said what was going to happen is one prescription was like opening the doors and letting it out. And it was going to attack everything. And he said then the other subscription would kill it. And he was right. Boy, I started her on that medication, and she had like big black circles under her eyes for about a month, and it was really awful. But he gave her a subscription for a full year so that I wouldn't have to, prescriptions. So he gave her like a prescription for like a full year so that I wouldn't have to worry about my insurance running out. And he said at the end of the year it should be gone. And it was. And she got really lucky because that we found that doctor, because there's a lot of people that live with it their whole life because they can't get rid of it.
Is that a known medication for it, or is that just one that some people have a go at?
It's if you're lucky enough to find the right doctor. Now, see, I found out how lucky I was because one of my oldest, about 3 years later, when we were living in Montana, my oldest daughter called me, and she said one of her good friends found out that she had Lyme's disease, and they gave her the 21-day treatment, and it was getting worse and worse, and her insurance wouldn't pay anymore. And her doctor said she was done with the treatment, so it was gone, and that was that. Yeah. But she was getting worse and worse. And she wanted to know what the name of the doctor was where I had taken Megan. So I started looking online for him, trying to remember his name and get his office location and all that stuff, because it had been a few years and I didn't live on Cape Cod anymore. And I started looking online, and I found out that this doctor that I had lied to get her in to see because my insurance was running out is actually the world leading expert on Lyme's disease. And that's who I took her to. That's who I took her to. Now, can you believe that shit?
Serendipitous, one would say.
So yeah, it was pretty good that I got her in to see him. And the other thing he told me is she's like immune to it now, so she doesn't have to worry about ever getting bit by a tick and getting it again.
Nice.
Because she is immune to it. There are some good doctors out there, and there are some doctors that are not good. The way that I feel about doctors is you can sum up by saying, do you know what you call the guy who finished last in medical school?
Doctor.
Yep. Oh, I love that.
I sent another one after that. Can you swapsy?
Ah, right. You have to. It's coming in. Oh, goodness me.
That
Coming
is
in.
so cool because you can see the face, and at the same time, it looks almost like a body, like with a bra on and underwear, and where it dips in. But then when you look, it's the head with the stuff on top. So it's really cool. I like it. So anyway, that's my story about Lyme's disease. But it was really bad, Blackie. She had when we got to Montana, her and I started riding bike again, and it had been like a year since she'd ever ridden a bike, and she sat down and cried and asked me if she could ever ride her bike again because her knees were so bad.
Mm.
And I got her a bike, and we started riding, and at first she could barely make it to the end of the driveway, and she would have to get off the bike because her knees hurt so bad. And we would just go a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and pretty soon she was going like a block. And then like 6 months later, she was like passing me up, and I'd have to keep yelling at her to get back because she had a 3-speed and I just had a regular bike. Get back here and stay with me. But yeah, so it took a while to get to riding her bike again.
Yeah, nice.
But it took some patience because she was in a lot of pain,
And this
But
was one of
anyway,
your
yeah,
kids?
that Lyme's disease it just sucks. I don't know if you guys get it over there. It is it's spread by deer ticks. So
yeah, people are in denial that it doesn't exist out here. It's actually a really strong point of contention at the moment in Australia because you've got one avenue of folks absolutely denying its existence out here, and then you've got people that are being diagnosed with it saying, I've got it. How is this possible? It's not. I mean, I think they're trying to. The people who are denying it are trying to confuse it with some other disease that's very similar. But I mean, we've got deer out here, and deer spread it through ticks. We've got ticks as well, so it's quite easy to believe that some of the deer that have been brought out with some limes aboard.
Yep. Here people think that it isn't on the West Coast, but my daughter's friend that I just told you about was from the West Coast. People think it's an East Coast thing, but no, it's on the West Coast too.
Yeah.
It's just that the Lyme, Connecticut is where it started. So everybody thinks that that's where it's at, and I didn't even realize that it was like very, very prevalent on Cape Cod until after my daughter got it. But it's no joke. It is not a joke. It is pretty serious shit.
Well, especially like you say, some people are left with lifelong repercussions from it. So
yeah,
if you don't do the right thing and beat those things, you're pretty much screwed from it anyway. Well, not screwed, but your life's going to change.
Yep. It is pretty nasty stuff.
Scungy's probably sent me a new version already, but are you showing the most recent update of that picture?
Oh, okay. Let me throw it up here. Oh wait, no, we're still on it. See, I like it because doesn't it look like there's a bra with like circles and stuff? Yeah, and then it's like a bikini bottom, but then when you look, it's the face with the hair.
I came to this realization just before that no one was getting my digit reference, and then I saw the face.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking that potentially I was maybe the first person to see the bikini and think it was some kind of Afghan wolfhound
Yeah,
After,
yeah, that's what it looks like.
in a
And then
bikini,
when you do a double take, you see the face.
you see the face and you just realise that she's got a really fancy hat on.
Yeah.
Now I'm astounded.
Astounded.
You tricked us all, Scungy, with your incredible talents.
Yep. I think it's just totally costumes.
Well, that's not even the guy I was looking for.
Oh, let's get to broad.
Do you know what I'm trying to find, Mikey?
I don't.
My dolls that I was making, and I can't think where they went.
The
I
what?
know Cake ate them, and so I put them away out in depression.
The white ones from the polymer clay stuff.
No, they're like felt ones. You know the one, like I sold that one at the market to that lady, that green one?
Little llama corn.
No,
Alpaca corn.
no. Hang on, let me try something and I'll try and show you something.
Oh, hang on. I'm still on the Scungy full screen picture on my computer.
Oh, I still have to search for this.
G'day, Kragos. GRB says doctors refused to acknowledge it as they can get struck off the register for mentioning Lyme disease or any tick-borne disease.
Oh my gosh, yes, there is this huge thing in terms of Lyme disease and tick-borne illness in this country.
Yeah.
Far
Where were
out.
you when we were having that conversation before?
I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know. But I tell you what, no, because it is, and they say that only whatever it is, I think it's called the Lone Star tick, is the only tick that can carry Lyme disease, and it's only in America and it's not here. But so many people in this country have Lyme disease, and so there are some doctors who totally believe in it, but very few doctors, they're scared. If you bring it up, they're scared to mention it, they're scared to make a thing about it. And there is definitely tick-borne illness in this country, and we have so many ticks, and so many people get gotten by ticks, and it just becomes like it can't be Lyme disease because it's like
It's kind of it's kind of the same thing here on the West Coast because they'll insist that the Lyme disease is not on the West Coast, and it sure as hell is. I mean, it is. It's not just the East Coast. So I kind of get what you're dealing with there because they're kind of trying to do the same thing here on the West Coast.
It's really difficult. To work out anything. I'm looking for dolls, but I'm finding like dragon wings.
All these other treasures instead. Surprise!
I thought I found one dragon, and then it was just the fabric I made the dragon out of. It wasn't the dye. But well, that's right. I was taking pictures. I just got caught up on Australians don't have Lyme disease. Oh my god! But I'm going to show you this, and then you'll know which one I mean. And I made like a lot of these guys, and some of them got eaten by my cat. But I still had lots of them and lots of the parts of them.
Mine got eaten by bugs.
I was going to find them. Yeah, yours did get eaten by bugs. I'm very sad because that was my first romantic gift to you.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. You gave me a card with a pretty picture and your phone number on it. That was pretty romantic.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It wasn't like the same.
I know what you're saying.
I'm like, come on. How long had we met each other? And then I sewed you a soft toy. Please.
It was that moment. I knew she was the one.
I'm going to show you my buffalo so far. I'm about 3/4 of the way done, but it's not showing. The colors aren't really showing up that I'm putting in it. Don't seem to want to show up, but I'll try. I shall try to show you. But it's got some really good colors going on, but it's not really showing up with the stupid camera. And it just won't show up.
Very nice, though.
Yeah, it's very good. Can see the quality of it. Again, I'm going straight for the eyes.
Waste.
But I'm also a fan of your nostril this time as well. That's a really good looking nostril.
Oh, thank you.
It seems to have just the right amount of glisten to it. I don't know if that's something you paid attention to and made sure that the little bit of the end of the nostril had a little bit of shine to it.
Oh, of course.
Are you sending me pictures of the ones the cat ate?
No, I sent you the pictures of the one that I have good pictures of that was finished,
And you want me to show it?
so that you would recognize. Sure, show it.
I remember the pictures, but I don't think I've ever seen.
All the pieces that I have, because I have them somewhere, and I was going to show them, but I can't show them. You can show the pictures. That will be something.
Yeah, I can remember certainly seeing those pictures before, but I have not seen that puppet in the flesh.
You have, because I did it at your house, sitting next to you outside there.
Now I feel a fool.
And do you also remember the other ones? There was like a yellow one and a white one and a pink one and a brown one. Remember those ones? Are they like the same but different? You really can't remember those things? Do you remember Cake eating them?
No.
Well.
Let's try this one.
Maybe they're not that great and memorable then.
I'm trying to work out how to make this bigger on my screen. Can I? Not that one. Anyway, oh no. I'll just do this. You can still see them, right?
Yeah.
We can see them.
Why does it do that? Every time I click the next button, no, it works this time. Maybe I was sliding off it. Oh, yeah, now I remember that one. I remember seeing that one. And what were the other ones? You don't have pictures of them.
Not easily.
Whoa, am I frozen? Oh yeah, Ross River. Ross River is transported by mosquitoes, yeah? Insects. I don't think mosquitoes are the only ones that transport it, but
I've only heard of it by mozzies,
but it's yeah, it works a little bit different to the tick-borne diseases because the tick-borne diseases are all based on some enzyme going nuts, isn't it? And the mozzie ones are just transfusing bugs into your system.
well, no. But like, say the thing I have from ticks is an allergy from the tick putting like mammal blood in my blood. But I believe that the Lyme disease is an actual thing that you catch from the tick. Because the idea with the tick is it's the same as a mozzie, right? If they have something and then they feed on your blood, then that stuff goes in your blood.
Yeah.
Ticks use a digestive enzyme to break down the blood that they eat, and mosquitoes, I think they just pass it through differently to the way that arachnids do, the way that ticks and mites process their food. So I think they use a different type of chemical interaction to create the disease that we see.
For example, what I have is a tick-borne illness. It doesn't have anything to do with whether ticks use an enzyme to break down their food. It has to do with what the tick has in it that goes into my blood from their body. And as far as I know, but I could totally be wrong here, I thought that Lyme is also something that is a bug that ticks can get and then can transfer to you.
That's what I think. I think Lyme's disease is a bug. There's different diseases that you can get from ticks here. One of them is I think Lyme's disease is a bug. And I think like Rocky Mountain spotted fever is another one that you can get here from ticks, from a tick bite, from different kind of ticks. And I think that one is more of like almost a virus or on that order. But I don't because I don't know for sure. But
yeah, I certainly don't know for sure either. I'm talking out my ass most of the time when I'm saying stuff like that.
So the only ones that I know about is I know what I have, and that's not to do with whether ticks use a digestive enzyme when they're eating. It's to do with that when they're eating, what they have infects my blood with what they have. I know that my son had something called tick typhus, which is a bacterial infection spread by ticks. So what I'm saying is very similar to like a mosquito. A mosquito feeds on one thing, it contracts the thing to itself, then it feeds on the next thing, and it's injecting that bacteria, virus, blood, whatever, into the next thing that it's eating. So, I don't know if there's any illnesses based on the enzyme stuff, like you said, but oh, that's the kiddies' home now. I don't know what Rocky Mountain oysters are, but it turns out that bong oysters aren't oysters either.
Rocky Mountain oysters are what you get in the springtime when you like brand the calves and like make steers out of the boys. In other words, the nuts. That's what Rocky Mountain oysters are. And they're very good. I used to help the neighbors with branding every spring and get a big gallon jug of the Rocky Mountain oysters to cook up at home, and they were good. I really enjoyed them.
Really? What do they taste like?
They're just a real tender meat.
Interesting. See, in my mind, that would taste really gross. Because
no, they don't. They're just very, very tender. And they're pretty good.
they're not full of spunk. They're just
No,
like
no, you clean them out before you cook them.
This is educational. I have seen, I can't remember, I saw some like gourmet or delicacy thing with testicles, but I mean, it didn't appeal to me. My mum used to try and make me eat things like brains and stuff. At fancy restaurant. We went to a fancy restaurant and she was like, eat these brains. And I was like, but I never ate the brains. I have never eaten like organ meat. I haven't eaten testicles.
Now, I absolutely detest liver, but I like Rocky Mountain oysters, and I like beef heart. Beef heart is pretty good. And I used to, years ago when my kids were little and we were broke all the time, cow's tongue was like the cheapest thing that you could get. Now it's like a health food thing, so it's super expensive. But many years ago, it was like heart and tongue were the two cheapest cuts of meat that you could get. And I used to get cow's tongue, and I'd put it in the crock pot with some rice vinegar and cook it like for all day long and stuff, and then pull the meat out of it and make like a sandwich spread out of it, like add mayonnaise and onions and all that stuff and make a sandwich meat out of it. It was pretty good.
I've never had it. Like I said, my mom tried to get me to eat brains, and it was when we went to a restaurant. She never brought them home. But I had a vegetarian, I'd like half of my family was vegetarian, so we didn't actually have like huge quantities of meat growing up. And still as an adult, even though like now I'm allergic to mammal meat, so I can't eat it anyway. But I'm also really inclined, even if I couldn't eat meat, to lots of vegetarian food just from growing up with lots of vegetarian people. So unfortunately for my son, who's right here next to me and has just walked in, we eat lots of lentils, and he's just like, can we never have lentils? And unfortunately, no, we cannot never have lentils. We are good boy. So that's his disgusting thing, you know, is eating lentils. Hello, how did you go? Can I just go for a sec? Because this is the
Yeah.
Just for 1 sec.
Your second's up. Get back here. Hello, everybody. I think I'm here by myself. I'm almost done with the buffalo, though. I think. It's too bad that this camera can't really show what it looks like with the detail and the colors and stuff, but I'll get a picture of it tomorrow, a photograph. But webcams are not good for showing detail, believe me. Mm-hmm. I think I'm done. I think I'm going to put my name on it and call it done before I overwork it. put it in a card holder and then I'll show you guys. Oh, I got it in there crooked. It's crooked. It's crooked. Okay. Let's see if you guys can see this or not. Can you see him? He's got a lot of blues and oranges and stuff, but it just doesn't show up well on the webcam. He's got lots of detail, but it doesn't really show. It just looks blobby. And I got pencil on my fingers. Ah. Maybe I'll blow myself up since nobody else is in here anyway. Let's see if we can get him to show. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't really show very good, the detail and the color, but there he is anyway. And I see Blacky came back. I finished him, see?
Nicely done. Yeah, sorry, I had I had a couple of my kids turn up and one of them was in a bit of a state, so I had to go and have a conversation.
And Sarah left for 1 second, but I've been timing her and it's a lot more than 1 second already.
Oh, damn. Such a liar. I'll show mine if you like. It's going nowhere fast.
Oh, yeah, I want to see it. Hang on. Oh, that's awesome. I like it.
I don't know which way it goes yet, of course. I'm just going with that one for now because that's the angle I've been drawing on for the last 10 minutes. Or less conversation.
Cool. Oh, and there's Sarah's back. That was a lot more than 1 second, Sarah. I was timing you.
I heard I'd like just sat down and started talking with him on the bed, and then I heard you saying it's been 1 second. He freaked out. He thought that then, oh, can everyone hear what we're saying? I said, no, we're on mute. So it was great. It's just that's the boy I had the meeting about. So that's my first connect with him after. So I just wanted to. Yeah, well, I said.
You should start almost every conversation with him with start a stance and knock some jabs out.
I had one of my friends from high school. We were talking the other night, and she was asking me about the YouTube stuff, and she didn't want to come in and like talk and stuff because she thought that everybody could see you if you talked in chat. She thought like the little circles with people's avatars were little cameras so that everybody could see everybody in chat. I was like, no.
They are if you've got the right software.
I mean, to be honest, I found this whole thing very daunting, and I still find it daunting to come in and say anything in chat. Because if I wasn't like on the thing and I was just watching and came in and like chatted, the responsibility to read everyone's things and like time responses and to make sure you didn't miss something, or I don't know, I find it really anxiety inducing. So I just like don't do it.
Oh, it's bloody 7 degrees right now. And by morning, it's supposed to be 3 degrees.
I keep
That's why
looking
my
for
feet are cold.
we might never get full. It's meant to be really hot on Saturday. It's April. What business does it have being mid-30s in April? It has no business.
Well, they're always saying 15:37 for my last piece. I guess that means this one, which is probably still unfinished. I wonder, should I sell it?
Well, like if he's offering you 15.37, the unfortunate thing is that's going to cost you $20 plus the packaging, so it ends up $25 to post, unless you fold it into a really small thing and then you can post it for just a few dollars. So
When I was saying I wonder if I should sell it, I certainly wasn't saying I wonder if I should sell it for $15.37 to Huawei. I was thinking whether I should take more bids on it. But I do have a lovely frame sitting around that I could probably pop this in and replace some of the.
well, it's a nice frame, but you're going to need to meet somebody with a guillotine to slice off those little edges.
They're part of the picture. I think I swore on screen with this guy just before when I went in between the bit of paper in the what do you call these things on the end? The rings, the spirals. I drew into the gap between them and I went, oh, fuck, or something like that when I did it. Myself. And now I've just done it 47 times up and down the spine, so I'll just leave it. Put the little rough tabs in the frame.
I draw up and down the spines of all the spiral books that I write and draw. Something about the pattern of the spine makes me need to draw along and in it.
Yeah.
I just realized because one of the nights where we had a live stream was pulling out drawing books, but I realize now that I didn't pull out the drawing books with I'm just remembering some of the drawings in some of the drawing books, those spiral books.
The sketchbooks, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I only pulled out some, but some of the ones I'm thinking of now, they didn't come out. I wonder where they are. You guys don't know. You can't help me. It's okay. It's all right. But how much longer will we be here for? Because I'm just trying to work out what I'll do.
Actually, I've been streaming for 3 hours and 20 minutes, so I'm thinking it's probably time to call it a night. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sure. We're working on limited hours. We need to be budgeting this crap out.
Yeah, well, one way or another, I'm going to end up having to probably pay for a month because I only had, before I started the stream, I had a little bit less than 6 hours left, and I've used 3 hours and 20 minutes of it. I still have 4 more streams to do before it rolls over. So it doesn't.
You were already discussing this, right?
It doesn't compute hours wise, so yeah.
What we should really get is Sarah to activate a StreamYard account to correspond with her YouTube channel and host the next one on her channel, perhaps. And then just,
will come.
Well, I guarantee you everyone that's here now will be there. And then we just promote it beforehand that it's on a different channel.
Yeah.
It's there's no passwords or nonsense or accounts involved with StreamYard. It's very straightforward. I mean, there is a
have to be the person to do the stuff.
What?
Then I have to be the person, don't I? I have a StreamYard, and then I have to be the host who puts people up. And
yeah.
concentrate.
We'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to do it. It's not the end of the world. But anyway, for tonight, I'm gonna say it's time to go. It's time to go. Time to go.
Okay. I will not embark on a new work then.
So here's my buffalo that I did tonight.
It's very cute.
Very cute, and will probably kill you if you look at it wrong.
Yeah, but because...
And then Sarah can show us hers again.
Oh, which am I showing? I have this one that I just did.
Wait a sec, I gotta pull you up. I gotta get
And
my
I can't actually work out if it's good or not. So I kind of like it.
Yep, I love that one. I love that one.
I'm not sure. It's gonna it might end up with like a thing here. I've been like holding my pen back from drawing it. So anyway, I have that one, but also I did this one, but I have and I did this one. And I did this one.
Apologies to the epileptics in the crowd.
That is just awesome, awesome.
Am
Okay,
I
Black.
jump?
Oh, me again? I thought I just did mine.
Very cool.
That'll take me another 6 weeks to finish, probably, if recent history has anything to do with it.
It's like never mind.
What are you going to say?
Because it looks like a poo from a tattooed butt.
Nice. I like it.
Like, I like poo. I mean, hang on, wait. I don't like real poo. I like poo jokes.
Oh. Okay, well, thank you guys. Thank you, mods. Thank you, Blacky and Sarah.
Thank you, Pam.
And thank you, everybody that came in.
Thanks, Huawei, for your bloody skills at modding and timestamp finding and stuff.
The way that I like saying
I was going to say, you guys should do a stream after I'm done. Although, hi, Debs, and bye, Debs. Although I'm probably going to head for bed pretty soon because I'm doing a lot of yawning. Lots of yawning going on here. I might just need coffee, though. I might try that first.
It's always a good point of
Yes.
port of call.
So, okay, so we will see everybody Saturday night.
It's great.
Sorry. Night, guys.
We'll have a quick dialogue off camera and work out if we'll do anything extra. I'll die at the end, I swears.